is that time of year. Welcome everybody to Ask for Help, and with a new feature, Call for Help. We're going to discuss that in just a few minutes. My name's Richard. I am your host here every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Let's drop that music down just a little bit. There we go. It is that time of year. Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Welcome. I'm playing with things here today. So there we go. We got a little lower third going on. I hope that wherever you are in the world today, that you're having a wonderful day. It is cold here today in Calgary. It's the weather outside is frightful, but you know, we've got that fire and it's so delightful. So let it snow. Go ahead, let it snow. We don't care. Listen, if you're new here and you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It does help our channel a lot, and it helps me to keep this channel going. Just by watching the channel, leaving a comment and a like, that goes a long way into getting this channel seen by people that wouldn't normally get the chance to see it. I want to say hi to a few people that we have in the chat today. Tim Postma. Brand new to our community, and I want to say hi to him. We've got HVAC A to Z, our good friend, and Ricky B, as well as Andy Mock and Dominic Versetto, all people that are loving it here on the channel. We are back and we are going strong. And I know that you guys have been following some of my posts this week on Facebook about Simplify 3D. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. Tim's got a couple of questions though, so I want to address those real quick. Let's bring up Tim's first question. He says, what brought back the master spool? I like the idea and concept, but the guy behind mainstreaming the first master spools refused to be called an inventor. Well, I don't know how to quite put that, but I think the master spool was brought back just to help reduce packaging. I'm just going to bring that down just a little bit more. There we go. I think it was just to reduce packaging. Hey, there's the Apprentice 2021. Hello. And I think the master spool is a great idea in terms of waste, because you can use that spool over and over and over again. Henry Stofferin, I'm back too. Hello, Henry. And thank you, Henry, for becoming a member once again. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. Yeah, that's why the master spool was brought back. Let's go and get to your next question. Also, for those who are not sure what is illegal to 3D print in Canada under federal law that you're aware of, but just trying to make sure people are aware. Copyright is a very slippery slope. There are many artists out there that are creating models based on intellectual properties. Are they selling them in mass quantities? No, I don't think they are. Are they being put up on different modeling sites? Sure they are. Now, my understanding of copyright law is things are done to interpretation. So when an artist draws, say, a character from Marvel, we tend to think of that as an artist's interpretation. It may not be exact. It might be exact. Who knows? But at the end of the day, selling an STL file is like selling a digital print that you've created. Selling the completed model, like an actual 3D print of that model, in a mass sort of way can be considered copyright. I guess there's still some copyright involved in that, but a lot of companies aren't going to come after you for, selling your STL, because it's like selling a drawing that you've done. In a lot of ways. And that's the easiest way that I can put that. All right. Let's turn that back on. And what do we got here? We've got Gary T in the house. Hello, Gary. Gary, I was trying to make you a moderator the other day, and for some reason, I can't make you a moderator. I don't know why. So I want to get you as a moderator on the channel. Okay. So that takes care of the questions. I am going to bring up the phone number right now. We have our toll-free number, 855-891 4275 is the number to call if you want to call into the show. Wish us a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever you're into. It doesn't matter to me. And the phone line is open today during the show, and that is the only time that this number is open. It is 855-891-4275. And I'm here to answer your questions about 3D printing as well. And that's what this show is all about. So this week, we had Simplify 3D released, the version 5, and I know that I said that I was not going to update to Simplify 3D version 5 because it just didn't have enough for me. Well, I kind of backtracked on that a little bit. I did some thinking about it after my initial post, and I thought, you know, I would not be serving you guys, my community, the best way possible if I did not get the update. So I did get the update due to and thanks to some of our community members who pitched in to force me to get the update. Hey, there we go. We got a call. And we have a caller on the line. Who's on the line?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. We have you on the line. Who's calling?
This is Henry.
Hey, Henry. How are you today?
So I just wanted to say it's fun to share his birthday.
It is very fun. Yes, it is. Everybody gets gifts. Henry, you're going to have to turn down your speakers in the background. I'm getting a little feedback.
Hello?
Hello. I'm going to...
Yeah, I just wanted to say how fun it is to share the same birthday.
Well, we wish you a happy birthday as well if it's your birthday.
But that's all. I'm having troubles with the phone, so...
Okay. Thanks, Henry. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
All right. There was our first caller today. There you go. We do have a line open. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Alteracious says, hello, I finally got my 6mm aluminum cast plate from Germany. Time to rebuild the printer bed. AC printer heat or AC bed heater, solid state relay, and magnetic bed application. Yeah. Just want to make sure we got a little bit of music going there. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. I think you've got it all covered. Awesome. Now we have Terrence P. He says, opinion. At worst, we should all be sharing step files. Everything we do is thanks to works of others. I don't understand this need to not be open. To some degree, I do understand it. I mean, people want to, if they've made something new or they've designed it from the ground up, I understand why they wouldn't want to share that. They do want to see something for their hard work, and I get that to a certain degree as well. And I get that we do live in an open community in terms of the 3D printing, but there are things that are charged for every day. And I think that you're not wrong, but I think other people would disagree with you on that, especially designers. So, but, you know, it's something to certainly ponder. Hey, there's Mark Baker. Welcome, Mark Baker. Mark's a good friend of mine that I have not seen in a long time, and I hope to see him very, very soon. All right, so let's get back to talking about Simplify 3D. For those of us that have used it in the past, I got on board with Simplify 3D back in 2016. And when I bought it, it was, I believe, still version 3. I've got an upgrade to version 4. I've had those incremental upgrades through 4, and then they just kind of fell off the planet when they announced that they were going to be doing version 5. There was no updates to the software, and we waited since 2019, so that's 3 years now, that we've had to wait for an update. That being said, do I think that this new update is better than what's on the market today or available to us as open source slicers? On the surface, I'm going to say no. However, that being said, I am going to be testing it, and I did a quick test today just to kind of set a baseline, or I did one this week. And setting that baseline, what that does is it tells me, okay, which is faster in terms of the printing time. I don't care which one slices faster. That a lot of that has to do with the way that your computer works as well. So if you've got a slow computer, you're going to get a slow slicer. I know that on my laptop, it is super slow, and it doesn't matter what slicer I'm using. It's slow regardless. So I think that some of the things that they took away in Simplify 3D were a little annoying. One of the things that they took away was the ability to have Simplify 3D work on two computers under one license. Now, they've kind of skirted around that by saying, okay, you have to deactivate it on one computer, then move to the next computer and re-enter your license agreement or log in or what have you. You don't have to uninstall the software. You just have to let go of the license on that one and then, set it up on the other. So that's not great. It's a bit of a pain in the butt because I use this computer system here to teach. So I like to bring up the software on the screen and show you guys what I'm doing from time to time. And when I can't do that, it becomes a real problem. So now having to move back and forth can be a bit of a pain in the butt. Now, some of the features that they introduced this week or that they talked about, I don't think are huge improvements. I think they've just built on what other slicers have kind of come to the forefront with. But I am going to explore all of these things in Simplify 3D. I'm going to be comparing it to other slicers as well, such as Cura and Matter Control and Prusa Slicer, because I have them all. So being able to do that is a huge benefit for me, and it's a huge benefit for you. So watch for that series coming in January of 2023. We don't have a whole lot of new content yet, but we are building it up. You'll know that we had a pretty rough year. So, but we're back, and we're going to be doing this every Sunday now at 2 p.m. We will not be live on Christmas Day, which is our next Sunday, but I will be back to start the year right on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2023. So we're going to be back then. Henry says, I'm having problems setting my Z offset. Any thoughts? When you're setting your Z offset, are you saving it? Are you doing it on the printer or are you doing it in the software? Those are a couple of things to keep in mind. Tom, he says, now that we have Marlin input shaping, I hope someone makes a G-code file to test it out on your printer. I hope so too. I think that's something that I would really like to see. Tim, he says, what's better in your opinion, Prusa Mark III or the Lulzbot? There is not a wrong answer. Having never used a Lulzbot, that's one of the few printers I haven't used, but I do own a Prusa Mark III behind me, and I really like the Prusa Mark III. I think it really is not a matter of which is better, but which suits you better is probably the best way to answer that. Whatever is best for you, whatever works for you is the best printer for you. Now, I have printers from Lotmaxx, I have printers from FlashForge, I have printers from Creality, I have printers from Mingda, I have printers from Prusa. So I have printers, I even have printers from Anycubic. So I have printers pretty much across the line. Some of my favorite printers, of course, are the Creality printers, the Ender 3, the CR-10, two of my favorite printers. They always seem to be flawless and they always seem to work just fine. Other than that, I love my Prusa. I think it works great. They did make some changes in the Prusa Mark III's, and I think that the changes that they made in the Prusa Mark III's can cause issues with some filaments, and I've discussed that over on the filaments.ca channel. So one thing I want to recommend, seeing as we are talking, we were just talking about them. I just happened to mention them. That's a great segue into filaments.ca is your source for 3D printing materials in Canada and throughout North America. They've got lots of them. They make them in-house. They're Canadian-made, sourced from materials right here in North America. So nothing is made overseas. They do carry other brands as well, so check them out today at filaments.ca, and we really appreciate their support for the first layer. All right, so Henry says he's got both, or he's using both of them. I wouldn't do it in my slicer. I would do it on the printer and make sure that you save those settings on the printer. There is a way to save them, and if you just go down to after you've made the change, in the Z offset, you'll see where it says save to EEPROM, and you just save it to EEPROM and then shut down the machine, turn it back on, and it will load that EEPROM for you. So how do I set the printer to the default settings? In the EEPROM, or in the menu system, you'll see under control, I believe, you're going to see a menu that says reset EEPROM. If you do that, it's going to set it back to exactly what the factory settings were. So I hope that helped. So the phone line, again, is still open at 855-891-4275 if you want to give us a call. I think we're doing okay. If you can't hear us, please let me know. You will have to turn down your speakers in the background if you've got speakers on. Otherwise, it will send feedback, and you may not be able to hear me properly. And please do me a favor and limit your questions to one at a time. You know that this show survives on you guys, and I do appreciate every time that we get a super chat, that sort of thing. It does go to helping us create content, and this is what I do. Other than working for filaments.ca, this is what I do. This is part of my source of income. And whatever this show makes, it goes back into producing and getting materials and printers for the show. So your generosity is always appreciated here on the First Layer. All right, so looks like we've got no questions, nobody calling in yet. So let's talk a little bit more about what we can expect in 2023. In 2023, as I said, we're going to be kicking off with our series on Simplify 3D. And showing you and comparing against the offerings that are out there. We're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb because I don't think it's fair to make assessments on the software without really testing it. I did have some fun with it the other day, and I'm just going to pull up camera 3 here. Oh, that's not it. Camera 1, that's the one we want. All right, let's put the border back on. And here we can see, let's see. This is, let me just look at the bottom. I'll be able to tell you which one this is. This is the one that was printed on printed using Cura. Well, let's see if I can't get that in the frame. There we go. This is the one that was printed in Cura. It came out really nice. This one printed in less time than estimated. I think we can see the writing on the back somewhat, and the writing on the bottom. This one came out good except for the Y. That's how I know this one was done in Cura, because I took this one off separately. So this one, here's the bottom of this one, and this is the one that was printed using Simplify 3D. And these are all done with just their stock profiles for the CR-10 version 3. And we got a really nice print out of it. So I'm really happy with the print that came out. However, this one took longer than the estimated time. And the one in Cura took less time than estimated. So as far as the times go, in terms of In terms of the times that they took to print, there wasn't a significant change in the times. There's about a 6-minute difference between Cura and Simplify 3D. Those two, let me just go back to, there we go. There we go. Those two also, you know, with that 6-minute difference, really wasn't that bad. That 6 minutes, it's not horrible in terms of that time, but I think if you're doing a much larger project, I think that time can be exponentially larger. So you may print something faster in Simplify, or pardon me, in Cura than you would in Simplify 3D. Now, did it slice any faster? That's not something I tested at the time, but I will be testing that as we go on. HVAC A to Z, he says, hey everyone, don't forget to smash that like button. Absolutely. Don't forget to show your support for the channel, because it all goes to helping us get ahead and get a little bit more in terms of our viewership and get our numbers up there in terms of our subscribers as well. I do appreciate that very much. All right, so yeah, talking about Simplify 3D, on the surface right now, I don't think there's huge improvements. I will study that and make sure that there is better improvements and be able to report those to you. So you're going to have to give me some time over the holidays. I will be playing with it a lot more. I'll be using it both on the Prusa. I want to see how it slices for the Prusa over the Prusa slicer. I will be testing their supports. Gary's asking if maybe test it if there's new tree style support slicer is faster than Cura. I will be testing that as well. Was the Benchy printed with a 0.4 nozzle? Yes, it was. It was printed with a 0.4 at 0.2 millimeter layer height. So normal in Simplify 3D, and I believe it's considered draft in Cura. Hawks, he says, have you tried lychee yet? I tried lychee way back when it first came out. I got very disillusioned with lychee when I could not renew my license agreement with it. What happened with lychee was my computer had died, and when I went to try and reinstall it, for whatever reason, they wanted me to do another license, and I went, no, I'm not doing another license, forget it, because my other license was still up and running, and it was doing really nicely, and at the end of the day, they didn't want to support it, so I didn't want to support them. Rex Waldy, Merry Christmas to you as well, or Merry Xmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, you name it, it's a happy week. That glitter filament I had last week, I needed to use a 0.8 millimeter nozzle, then it printed great. Wow. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that last week, and what was the brand of that glitter filament again? I seem to have forgotten. Gary, you'll tell me. They have a new slicer for filament printers, not resin. Yes, Hawks, it is. It's not a new, it's just an update to Simplify 3D. Hey, there's Andy Mock. Merry Christmas season's greetings to everyone. I wish there was a lexicon that could be used to translate slicer settings between different slicers. That way we could compare slicers head to head. Dominic, you're not wrong about that. Non-fam, you should be set up as a, I don't know why you're not. I'll get back to that in a second. Yeah, I agree that there should be an easy way to do that. Unfortunately, there isn't. So whatever you're going to use as your primary slicer, then what I would do is I would take that and I would move those settings over. They're pretty easy to translate back and forth. Hi, non-fam. Quickly, I tried to make you a moderator. I don't know if you got the email or not, but I did send an email to you asking you to be a moderator on the channel. And Gary T, I wanted him to be a moderator as well, but unfortunately, Gary T wouldn't come up. eSun, a 0.6 might have worked as well, but I didn't have one. Okay. Yeah, the eSun seems to have a much bigger granule. You'll notice that this one here, that I'll go back here, you'll notice that there's a sparkle to it. You'll see there's little flecks in that. This is the Galaxy Black from filaments.ca. I really like that. Dominic Versetto, I had an idea to make one in Python. Great minds think alike. Yeah, that would be really cool. And HVAC saying he received filament today. Thank you from NonFam. There we go. Look at that. You know, this time I wanted to do a 12 gifts of Christmas this year, and I was trying to work it out with filaments.ca. Unfortunately, with everything that happened with the move, I don't know if people know this, but filaments.ca has moved all into one building now. Their factory and their offices, along with the shipping, are all in the same building now. So there was a little bit of a growing pain. And when that happened, of course, some things got set back, and filaments were going out a little bit late. But everything is getting caught up, and I think anybody that has ordered their stuff should be getting it in time for Christmas, I hope. Don't hold me to that, but I don't work in the office. I work from my home here in Calgary, and the office is in Ontario. So every day I'm on the line with them. So, you know, we try and talk. There we go. We got Merry Christmas from Duff. Hello, Duff. How is the weather in Winnipeg? And there's a good afternoon, everyone, from RT, my good friend Richard Taylor, who I haven't seen in a while, and I have to get together and go for a beer with him very, very soon. I didn't shave today. I'm feeling a little lazy. It's getting on to the holiday season. I got one more week before my wife is off for a week, and then she'll be home and driving me crazy, and not driving me crazy. I love my wife. She's great. I love the 3-color mixed extrusion filaments. Dominic, so do I. I've got one here somewhere. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab this. All right. So this is from the Filabox. You can see that there's many different colors in there. There's about 3 or 4 different colors in there. They're green to purple or lavender or lilac, whatever you want to call it. Filaments.ca does a gradient. I haven't seen the actual gradients that are out yet, but I do want to get more of their gradients in here and play with them and print with them. I think that'll be a great way to, you know, just to print something cool. Let's talk about printing for a minute. I saw a comment this week about especially the Galaxy Black. People were saying, or somebody had mentioned that it doesn't print good in sub-zero temperatures. Well, for anybody that knows anything about 3D printing filament, none of it will print good in sub-zero temperatures. So if you've got your 3D printers in your garage, and your garage is cool over the winter, like you don't have a heater in there, or you're keeping it at a very low temp, chances are you aren't going to get great prints. I know that a couple of people here, and I'm just going to run back. Mark Baker, a good friend of the show and good friend of mine. Mark Baker has his setup in his garage, unless he's moved it into the house. I'll have to ask him about that. But as far as I know, he's got his in the garage. But his garage stays at a constant temperature all year long. So printing in there can be challenging at times. However, when your temperature drops below a certain point, it will cause issues with your 3D printing. You may not get the layer adhesion that you want. You may get a brittle print. It may actually get stuck or clog up your hot end because the ambient temperature around it is just too cold. Tim is asking, what do you think about the Ultimaker and Raise 3D? The Ultimaker and Raise 3Ds, I do like both of them very much. However, I've never owned either one of them. I have played on a Raise 3D, and I have seen the prints that come off an Ultimaker. Do I think they're worth the price for the average hobbyist? No. I think that they're a little bit too expensive. I think they're more designed for small business, small industrial applications. There are some hobbyists that have them. They're not cheap machines. I think they start at around $3,000 for $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it can be a little bit of a challenge in terms of the price, but I think they're both very good machines. They're both very well supported. I also do like Cura, which was designed around the Ultimaker, and I do like Idea Maker, which is the slicer for the Raise 3D. I don't think anything prints good Sub-Zero. I agree, although that might be an interesting video to make, Sub-Zero Printer Showdown. We may have to try that. Mark Baker says, in my garage right now in a t-shirt. I hope you have pants on. But the humidity is pretty low at minus 30 Celsius, LOL. Yes, I agree, it is. Eric Anderson, tell us Makey the Robot in 2023. Yes, I'm going to be working on another Makey the Robot in 2023, Eric. Makey is, do I have mine down here? I do somewhere. I do. Give me 1 second, I'll go grab them. All right, so here's Makey the Robot. Now, Makey is a very cool little robot that anybody can make. It's built on all open source software and open source hardware. You can find everything. His head moves, his eyes light up, his arms move, and his legs move. Although right now he's not powered up, and I don't have a battery in him, so I can't turn him on. But when he is powered up, it is quite a fun little robot. Now, I have material from Easy Robot that I'm going to be doing another Makey with. I may have to redesign some of the parts, but I'm looking very forward to doing another Makey, and we will see more Makey in the new year. Speaking of Makey, Makey is going to also be at Maker Faire here in Calgary on May 14th and 15th at the BMO Center. So if you're interested in being a part of that, Gary and I are both on the board for that as well. So you can always drop us a line or go and look at Calgary Maker Faire and just find out what's going on. What do you heat your garage with? Gary's asking. Printing in the rain can also be challenging. It's a joke, not a criticism. Yeah, printing in the rain can be challenging. Oh, Gary says he's going to accept that challenge. Radiant heat system, Mark Baker is saying. Tim's asking, with the Lulzbot, Cura default is 0.5 millimeter nozzle size. Wow, that would be a 0.5 millimeter nozzle size. I would have to check into that, Tim. I don't think that's quite correct. I think that you're either going to have a 4 or a 6 on that. I don't think there is a 0.5 millimeter nozzle, but I don't see that being a standard for them. I could double check on that just to be sure. Gary T says, I'm looking to get heat into mine, so I have been looking around for solutions. Yeah, solutions for heating your garage at a reasonable rate, especially with the way that everything has gone up, including electricity and gas, especially here in Alberta. Not a great thing. It can be a real challenge on the pocketbook. That's for sure. That's for sure. So Makey, I printed Makey, just so you guys know. We'll get back to Makey real quick. I printed him all in red PLA. This is Econofill red PLA and white Econofill PLA. He was all printed on the Ender 3. So you can see that you don't need a very big printer to print all of this stuff. It's really, really easy. Putting them together, there's lots of things online for him. I have to remember who this came from originally, but it is a very simple robot. He dances. You can add sounds to him if you put a speaker in him. He can play sounds. He can walk. He can do whatever you need him to do. This one in particular is designed so that it's got a USB for power and for controlling the robot, and then there's also a plug-in in the back, and I did not put an on-off switch on him. So yeah, but he's fun. He's fun. I've got another one upstairs that actually has a battery in it, so it can be recharged. Some of the other things that I want to do here in the new year is I want to do my scrap metal build, 3D printer as well. So that's going to be coming up in the new year. We're going to do a bunch of projects. I do want to bring you guys along for the ride on a project from start to finish. That's from whether that be from designing through to the execution and print and the cleanup, or getting into doing some finish work like painting. I know we've talked about that in the past over the last 5 years, and I've never really shown the project from beginning to end because I've never really finished any of those projects. But I'm sure you guys would like to see something like that, whether that be a helmet or a statue or something along those lines. Tim, he says, I think a bigger size is better than smaller, especially as a backup. Bigger size can work to your advantage depending on what you're printing and when you're printing, and the type of material that you're using, and how fast you want to print. If you've got a bigger nozzle size, of course you can always print faster because more material is coming out of the nozzle. I like that 0.4 size nozzle because I think that overall that nozzle itself is gives me the best results for most of the stuff that I do. Can tell us what cheat 3D print you're thinking about building and will be live or just post video? I think part of it is going to be live. I may do some live streams throughout the weeks when I get into doing a project, because when I do a project like the Superman or even these guys, I should have had more of these close by, but when I do things like this, go back to camera 1 here. This is not completed. As you can tell, I still have work to do on it. But for the most part, you know, you may want to learn how to do this, improve your skills, and by improving your skills, it's going to give you interesting collectibles, if you're into collectibles, or even making gifts for people. But this is Han Solo. This is a free file that you can find online. I printed it on, this was printed on the Ender 3, and did a little bit of course, some sanding work and things like that, and we have a Han Solo. Now I just have to finish painting it properly. There we go. But yes, I will take you guys along for the ride. We'll probably pick something. Maybe we'll do it as a group build. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Is doing a group build where we all print the same thing, we all clean it the same way, and we all paint it? and finish something. If that's something that you're into, please go ahead and just say hell yeah in the chat, and we'll work on something for the new year. Dominic says, I saw a vid by Explaining Computers this morning. Someone from Raspberry Pi said that the Pi Feminine may be ending in a few months. Or famine. Famine. The Pi Famine may be ending in a few months. Yeah, it's. I hope that it does. I hope the price of these things come down. I can't see myself buying another Raspberry Pi unless the prices come down. In Canada, you can find them that are that are way too expensive. I've seen them $89, $90, $100 plus dollars. 120, I think, was the highest I saw. No, wait a minute. Just the other day, I saw one for $148. When you factor in shipping on top of that, it can be really expensive for something that used to cost us $60. Yeah, I understand inflation, but when things go up by 100% or more, it can be a real problem. RT says, I forgot about hand. Yes, I actually have the other two here as well. I still have to finish them. And RT says, hell yeah. He wants to see stuff go from beginning to work to end. Tim says, I like focusing on one thing at a time. Yeah, I have a hard time doing that. I have squirrel syndrome. Yeah. An airbrush workshop would be sweet. Dominic, I would love to do an airbrush workshop. I do have my own airbrush that I use here and that I've been using for years. And maybe we can get an airbrush company on board to help us out when we do that as well, and maybe give some stuff away. Yeah, there's a shortage of computer chips. I think the computer chip shortage is coming to an end. I've seen things now that are starting to come out that are dropping the price. And that's the same thing with 3D printers, because they rely on computer chips as well. And those, again, are starting to come down. Have I heard of the 3D printer Rook by Rolahan? I don't believe I have. Put a link to that if you can in the chat, and I will go and check it out a little bit later on. Venom Killer says the Pi in the UK is about 249 Canadian dollars. Wow, that is yeah, that's insane. I can build a PC for $500 Canadian, you know, and still get more RAM, an AMD CPU, and a motherboard for that price. For, you know, just a couple $100 more, and have a much stronger machine. Heck, for that price, I could go and buy a used machine from the Calgary Electronic Recycling Depot for less than that, and have a much more powerful machine. As a matter of fact, I think I've got one up in the living room. But when it comes to 3D printers, I don't know what we can expect from the 3D printer industry going forward in 2023. I hope that we get to see some very cool new printers. I know there's been some talk of 5-axis 3D printers, 6-axis 3D printers that are being worked on. They've just kind of been mentioned, but they haven't done a lot. The biggest innovation I think that we saw in the last year was the belt printer from Creality, and a lot of people got those. But you can only do so much with a printer. So now it's all about electronics. There's been talk that we're going to move from 32-bit boards to 64-bit boards. There's been some integration of Raspberry Pi into our control boards. So there is some innovation on that front. We're going to talk about a lot of that in the new year as well. And we're going to do some demos on some of the new hardware that may be coming out. When it comes out, it gets into our little hands. Non-fam says, yeah, you can get an old Intel i7 for that price. Yeah, you absolutely can. Actually, my wife is running on a second generation i7. in her office. So, and it still works fine. She loves it. It works fine. So, down here in my office, I'm running on a 3rd gen over on my computer in the back there. And here I'm running on an 8th gen for my streaming PC. Larry says, I have the CR-30 myself. CR-30 I have not had a chance to check out, but I do want to check out. I think that it's something that is worth looking at. Tim says, something I want to know about both the Lowesbot Mini and Lowesbot Taz is all factory calibrated and factory leveled and are inspected with a checklist, and I mean every one of them. Some companies do that. I know Prusa does that as well when they send out their printers, but you do still have to do some minor adjustment to them if you're buying a pre-built one. So yeah, that's something I think is a good thing. I don't own a Lulzbot 3D printer. I would like to own one. Maybe I can get in touch with them and they'll send me one out for review later this year or next year, pardon me. There's my good friend DeWitt. Tim finally made it home. Hello. Everybody's saying hi. Hi, folks. Hi, folks. There we go. So DeWitt's, I don't always catch Tim's streams, but I really like catching Tim's streams. Tim's doing right now over on DeWitt 3D. If you haven't checked it out, he's been building. Oh, we got a call here. Just we'll come back to this. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, by yourself.
I'm doing well. Who do we have on the line?
Eric Anderson.
Hey, Mr. Anderson.
My question is going to be about resin.
Sure.
How much do you know about the different resins, liquid?
Okay.
That you can tell me about?
Well,
I want to get in.
I do a fair amount of resin printing. So I've used a fair amount of different resins out there. I have several resins that I like, and then there are resins that I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the water washable resins. I find that they don't get clean enough, so they do remain sticky even after you've cured them. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I don't think I am. If you are calling right now, I see somebody else trying to call. If you are calling right now, please hang up and just give me a moment and try your call again, and I'll be happy to answer your call. But that being said, yeah, I think the water washable resins, I don't think they're as strong either as the other resins that are out there. ABS-like resin, I think, is probably the strongest resin you can use. It also has the strongest odor of any of the resins, so something to be cautious about. I always think that when you're cleaning your resin prints, a good way to clean them is in a high percentage of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, like something in that 90 to 99%. I think you're going to get the cleanest product at the end of the cleaning. You're not going to have that stickiness. The other thing about resins is over time, if they aren't cleaned properly, they will start to crack as they dry out. So you want to make sure that you have cleaned them properly. My procedure for cleaning is I take them out, I let as much excess resin drip off them back into the drip tray as I possibly can. Then I will take them and I will put them into my alcohol bath. I'll get a soft toothbrush and I'll just start scrubbing around the print with a soft toothbrush. That gets that alcohol into areas that it may not normally be able to get into. I will run it around in that alcohol for a little bit. If you have a cleaning system, like from Anycubic or Elegoo, those work very well at getting into all the cracks and crevices. Then take them out, wash them under a light, warm, soapy water, then let them dry. Once they've fully dried, then before you put them into your curing station or out into the sun, clip off all of your supports, that's the best way to do it. That way you're not snapping supports after that plastic has already been cured. It's still somewhat soft and pliable before you go and cure it, and then just cure it under your UV lamp for whatever amount of time. The resins I really like are usually ones that are put out by the manufacturers. I do like the resin that came with my, what is the make and model of it? Not my Photon, my Phrozen 3D printer, my Phrozen Mini, that's the one. I do like the Phrozen resin. It does a really good job. Did that sort of answer it for you? All right. Oh, it looks like we got another one of those trolls. There we go. We got a troll. Yeah, water washable resin. Watch that resin generates a lot of contaminated water to dispose of properly. I agree with that 100%. Tim says, something I want to point out, 3D printers are tools, not toys. The nozzles can cause burns, and there was a guy who wanted to see how pinching a stepper idler is. Yeah. You do have problems when it comes to safety. Safety is a big importance when 3D printing. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything hot. Oh, it hung up on you. I'm sorry, Eric. I don't know why it hung up on you. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. Very strange. It should not have hung up on you. I do apologize for that. It's not something I did. This is still something that's experimental, so bear with me. I am trying to get this thing sorted out. Maybe it was because of the call waiting. All right, so we are getting pretty close to the top of the hour. I was going to go a little bit longer, but it seems like we don't have a ton of questions. Again, I want to say happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating at this time of year. Do it with somebody you love. If you can't do it with somebody you love, or you're by yourself this year, there's always friends like us online to wish you a happy holidays, and you can reach out to. Don't be alone this time of year. I know this time of year can be depressing, especially if you're alone. We're ending the year on a high note. Let's all see everybody in 2023. I hope to do more of these live streams throughout the weeks. Maybe have a special one where we have a roundtable again. I'm going to be redoing the memberships so that I keep up with that stuff, because when it comes to the channel, it's you guys that keep this channel running. It's not me. Yes, I'm the one who actually does them, but it's your support and your your memberships and your super chats and things like that that help to upgrade software like we did with Simplify 3D and community members. And I think that I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you gave me in 2022, even though it was a really crappy year. We didn't do a lot. I didn't do a lot of videos. We lost Brian we lost Brian from the show. Brian is still very much alive and well, but and we are still very good friends. It's just that he needed a break, and there's no chance of him coming back anytime soon. So, I'm kind of sad about that, but I understand everybody has a life, and everybody leads their lives differently. And so for 2023, I think I'm going to do the show solo as best I can. Get back into the groove of things and look at all the new technologies and stuff that is coming out. Eric says, I'm getting a Anycubic Photon Mono X LCD SLA 3D printer. What a great choice. I like that printer a lot. I also like the Phrozen Sonic Mini which is also a very good printer, which is one that I have. The Phrozen Sonic Mini 4K, and now I believe they've got an 8K out. Also very good. Thank you very much, DeWitt. Make sure that you hit that like button, folks. DeWitt's reminding. Henry's bummed out that Brian's not with us anymore, and it happens, you know. Brian and I are still very good friends. Jess and I are still very good friends. They just both have very busy lives right now. Brian, with his job, is out and on the road a lot and doing what he has to do. And you know, I respect what he does, and I'm sad that he's not on the show anymore. It's just me being sad, but I'm sure some of you guys are going to miss him as well. But I talk to him all the time. I think I talk to him about every couple weeks anyway, and if not, we're texting back and forth. So we're still talking a lot. Andy Mock, enjoy and stay safe. All the best to Brian. Miss seeing you. We miss seeing Brian as well, and I wish you guys all the best this holiday season. Spend time with your loved ones. Do what's right. Enjoy the holidays. Look forward to 2023. Find something in 2023 that's going to motivate you. I have brand new motivation for this show and going forward, and I hope to share that all with you guys and get back to our regular schedules where we drop a new episode, usually on Wednesdays, and we do our live stream every Sunday. Live streams will be here every Sunday at 2 p.m. We do not have one on Christmas on the 25th because it is Christmas Day and people will be spending it with their families. It's just my wife and I, so we don't really celebrate Christmas, but I know that you guys are, and I don't want to interrupt that. But I will be here on New Year's Day, so if you're hungover from celebrating on New Year's Eve, ringing in the new year, I do hope that you will join me on New Year's Day to kick off 2023 the right way. We'll be talking filament. We'll be taking your questions. We'll be taking your suggestions for what you'd like to see on the show in 2023. I'm going to do my best to make everything happen as finances will allow, because this show is funded out of my own pocket for all intent and purposes. It's funded out of my own pocket, and from your those people that use the super chat and that use the membership. It all helps a lot, and we do appreciate it. And it goes into the fund every month, so it goes into helping out. I want to say hi to Shadell 3D. Welcome. And he says, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to everybody. I agree. Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to everybody as well. And we're going to wrap things up now. Thank you for all those that called in today. We're going to be working on that and getting that a little bit smoother as we go into 2023. I hope that you all enjoy your Christmas day and that Santa's good to you. And I will see you all again on January 1st, 2023. And until I see you guys then, print something cool. Put it on the Facebook. And remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. Merry Christmas, everybody.